their welfare. Governor Ademola Adeleke, while assuring the entire resident of Osun of democratic dividend, urged them to support candidates of the People's Democratic Party in the forthcoming elections. As this year's Valentine gift, Governor Ademola Adeleke announced the payment of backlog of half salaries owed Osun workers, which he said begins today. The head of service, Mr. Leye Aina, while speaking, described Governor Ademola Adeleke as the best Osun workers can have at this time, as his actions are showcasing him as a friend of the workers. The head of service, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Mr. Adelane Aderiola, appreciated Governor Ademola Adeleke for approving the set-off of backlog of half salaries and implementation of their promotions. He called on workers to replicate the good gesture through dedication to duty and ensure the neatness of their workplace. Speaking in the same vein, the chairman, Nigerian Civil Service Union Osun State Chapter, Comrade Christopher Arakpasopo, and the Trades Union Congress Chairman, Comrade Adebowale Adekola, explained that Governor Adeleke has described the governor as workers-friendly, who is showing love to them. Comrade Arakpasopo also appreciated the physical infrastructure that the government is embarking on. For those criticizing the governor, he told them to stop such acts as the Valentine celebration started some years ago. Prizes were presented to workers who performed excellently in various games, competition, and dance fiesta. For Osbc News, this is Saeed Adevoje reporting.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has summoned the Finnish ambassador to Nigeria, Lena Plevaväinen, over hate speech and insensitive comments by the Nigerian Finnish lawyer and Biafra agitator Samuel Epa. Epa-led faction of the outlaw indigenous people of Biafra had reportedly declared that the election would not allow to hold in the southeast and had ordered a seat at home during election. At a meeting with Lena, Nigerian's Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Oyema said Epa's action is fast becoming a threat to the forthcoming election, and that the federal government will not take it lightly with him and the Finland government if nothing drastic is done. The minister, who was represented by the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Zubaru Dada, stated that Epa is living in the comfort of his home in Finland and dishing out dangerous order to the followers not to allow election to hold in the southeastern Nigeria. Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors has defied its proposed nationwide strike, saying the federal government has met more than 50% of its demand. The national president and senior registrar department of orthopedic and trauma surgery, Federal Medical Center, Umuahia, Abia State, Dr. Emeka Innocent Orji, told newsmen that federal government has met 2 out of NAD's 3 major demands. He further said that it has paid the 2020 Medical Residency Training Fund. It has, however, not met the demand for review of consolidated medical salary structure. NAD's demand include addressing irregularities in the new circular on upward review of medical residency training fund, outstanding payments of arrears of the new hazard allowance, salary arrears of members in the state tertiary health institution running into several months, among others. The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps has launched a National School Security and Emergency Response Center to scale up surveillance and protect school children. Flagging off the center in Abuja, Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, Prince Clem Agba, said that the project is launched in furtherance of effort by the federal government to end the spate of kidnapping and adoption for the ransom of school children. Mr. Agba said the government will ensure the prompt release of funds for the financing and the entire Safe School initiative to ensure that children are able to go to school without fear of kidnappings and adoption for ransom. He pointed out that the government is aware that the success of every one of the 17th Sustainable Development Goals rest on a safe and secure environment where school children can get the quality education they need to unlock their full potentials and contribute to building a better Nigeria. And now to sports. Nine-time African champion Super Falcons of Nigeria arrived in Leon State of Guanajuato, Mexico, ahead of the Four-Nation Women's Revelation Cup tournament holding from today to February 21. Hosting Mexico, Nigeria, Costa Rica, and Colombia are the participating teams at the tournament, which has the objective of preparing the contestants for the ninth FIFA Women's World Cup finals in Australia and New Zealand. The Super Falcons will play their fourth game of the tournament against host Mexico later in the evening, 3 hours after the opening match between Costa Rica and Colombia. The Falcon on Saturday up against Colombia at Mexico before Costa Rica squares up against the host nation. And now to some foreign stories. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has warned of the threat posed by rising sea levels of hundreds of millions of people living in low-lying coastal areas and small island states as new data reveals seas have risen rapidly since 1900. In his address to the first UN Security Council debate on implementation of rising sea levels for international peace and security, Guterres said countries such as Bangladesh, China, India, and Netherlands were threatened, as were big cities such as Bangkok, Buenos Aires, Jakarta,